Got it done last night again. Tag number 2 for the year has been filled out. Got a big fat doe last night, which is what I've been after the last couple of weeks. Been trying to tag a doe. I do have one more doe tag, and then I've got my other buck tag once gun season starts next Saturday. So still lots of opportunities left. I'm probably not gonna hunt again between now and the start of gun season, just because I've been hunting pretty hard lately. So I'm probably gonna take a week and a half. Spend some more time with the kids, with the wife, and all that kind of stuff. But definitely some rut action last night. It was awesome. I actually hunted the exact same spot that I hunted on Sunday, this past Sunday. So, which I don't normally do. Not only the same spot, same tree, everything. The one thing I did change was I actually went lower. So I use a mobile sniper, as you guys probably know by now. My platform was maybe 3 to 3.5 feet off the ground. The reason being, I was kind of on a bank. So even though my platform was only 3 feet off the ground, I was still like a good 12 to 15 feet above the height of the food plot. And I had to stay super low to stay in the cover, which, as you could see, it worked. I also, I watched three different bucks chasing does. 2 of the bucks were real small, like one was a 4-horn, one was a tiny 6-point. The other one, on the other hand, was a big 8. Now big 8, I mean like a 3-year-old 8, not a 7-year-old monster. But either way, like, they were pushing does all over the place. And all the action started to kick off around 4 o'clock last night. And I watched this group of does. There were 4 or 5 of them come out of the brush that I was hunting over. They kind of worked their way down in the plot, but they were on the very far end. And were actually started to head out, like they were going the other direction. And then one of those bucks pushed them my way and made them turn and come my direction down the food plot. So, which I was hoping for. I was hoping that they would get pushed, so they didn't go out the other direction. But, so yeah, this doe was the biggest of all the ones in there. I didn't weigh her, and I kind of regret doing that, or not doing that now. Really wanted to get a weight, but I totally forgot in the moment. I got home. I gut it at home. As long as I didn't like gut shot it, and I know that I didn't gut shot it, I'll just do it at home. I like gutting a deer off my tailgate. I'm very tall, so like squatting down on the ground and hunched over and stuff just kills my back. So either way, got it home, got it gutted, strung it up in the tree in the front yard. And then I went out early this morning, about 6 o'clock this morning, and got it all skinned out and processed in the freezer. So anyways, totally lost my train of thought. So the does get pushed by the bucks. This doe starts coming down, and I'll put the video in from my GoPro after this. But there was a dead tree in front of me that comes up maybe 8 to 10 feet and then does a split and then just goes perfectly like a super tight goalpost, if you will, with only maybe 6-inch space between the 2 branches. Well, I pre-range check everything on my shooting lane, so I know if they cross through there, what range they're at. And through that tree, now this was not the shot I anticipated taking, but through that tree to the ground was 28 yards, which I had checked at a time. So she starts coming in. She gets to where she's about, like, her head is in that gap between the trees, and she whips her head back the other direction. So she is now completely broadside, a little bit quartering away, and looking back down the direction she came from. And I had my bow in my hand, GoPro was already recording, and I'm like, okay, I'm going. And I drew back, got my pin on her. She stepped forward and actually put her shoulder and her head behind some brush. So she was completely out of my line of sight. And right as she went to take a step forward, I released. And it's hard to see in the GoPro because it's zoomed out. She was quartering away probably like, I don't know, maybe 10 to 15 degrees, like not a lot. And I put it kind of like towards the back of the rib cage, and that thing came out right behind the opposite shoulder, full pass through. I heard you can't hear it in the GoPro because it kind of gets drowned out by the sound of my bow going off, but heard the loud thwap as it went through. Knew I went through the diaphragm right away. She takes off down the food plot, which I got the trail cam video of her doing that, hooks around the end and goes out of sight. Now, the only like crash I heard was her going through that brush, but I didn't hear anything after that. Couldn't see her. She was completely out of sight. That stuff's super thick. And so I stayed up in the tree. You know, this is only 4 o'clock. I've got an hour and a half of daylight left, and there's still does and bucks running around. I got tons of videos of deer after that. I had a fawn literally come in. Mind you, my feet are 3 feet off the ground, come in literally underneath me, like completely underneath me, looking right down at it, got videos of it. Like it was super cool. I've never had a deer in the wild that close to me. It was so cool. I could have reached down and touched this thing's head a couple times. So anyways, I stayed in there till dark, got down, went and grabbed my arrow, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go grab the 4-wheeler, grab my big headlight, and I'll come back in and track. So I go back to where my arrow was, which it was right next to an apple tree I've got in a cage, so it was super obvious to find. Then I start walking down the food plot, and I'm finding 0 blood. I'm texting my buddy Levi. I had already texted Andre and Davey. By the way, Davey, Team Newman Outdoors. Check him out on YouTube if you haven't already. I'm texting them, but I text Levi, and I'm like, dude, I'm not finding any blood. Like, not a single spot, nowhere in the whole food plot. But I pulled back up the trail cam video, and I looked where she hooked through. And I'm like, all right, so I just started walking that direction, and I started kind of doubting myself. I'm like, man, like, what the hell? What is going on? Like, I know I double lunged her. I had no doubt in my mind prior to that. But as bow hunters know, you start to second guess yourself when you're not finding blood. Now, I had covered 50, 60 yards. Probably about 50 yards before she hooks out of the food plot without a single drop of blood. I go through that brush line. It's a little creek that doesn't have water in it unless it's like a heavy rain. I step to the other side of that, and all of a sudden I find a spot of blood. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Like, oh, I can take a breath now. And then all of a sudden it just turns into a red line going down the woods. So my guess is that I hit her a little bit high in the lungs. She ducked for sure. She ducked my arrow a little bit. So I hit higher than I had intended. And my guess is that blood just hadn't filled up in the lungs to start coming back out yet. But then from the first spot of blood I found to where the doe was less than 20 yards. And of course I'm looking down like this, and I'm following the blood trail, and all of a sudden I practically kicked her, like almost stepped on her, because I'm looking for blood and following the blood trail. But yeah, it was awesome. Broadhead just wreaked havoc in there, absolutely annihilated the lungs. Skimmed the top of the heart, but didn't fully open it, but still, I was pretty happy with it. I was surprised too, considering how high I hit in the lungs, somehow skimmed the top of the heart, but, and then blew through four ribs, 2 on each side. Totally destroyed the broadhead. Actually ripped one of my fletchings off too, like kind of shredded it, like not even a clean tear off. So that arrow's pretty much screwed. And then, yeah, had the 4-wheeler up there already, ran back, grabbed my tags, grabbed the wagon, and a couple straps, came up, loaded her up, and got her out. And, but yeah, I'm gonna throw the GoPro video on the end of this, and probably the trail cam video too, because I got a video of her coming across the food plot, my shot, and then a video of her hauling ass the other direction. So it was pretty cool. Awesome hunt. That's the lowest I've ever set up, ever. It was very cool to set up that close to the ground and have it pay off. So, I've had conversations with people lately on Facebook about hunting height and all that kind of stuff, and that just goes to show that had I been higher because of that terrain, I would have been completely skyline. They probably would have seen me from a mile away. So being that low and being in all that brush and still having 4 really good, possibly 5 really good shooting lanes, like I had lots of shot opportunities as long as I came through that food plot. So, Either way, yeah, I'll throw those other videos on here, and 11:15, I can go after another buck. So here we go.